Are you concerned about how to navigate the AP Bio hybrid exam? Have you never taken a test online before? Well, if that's you, then this video is for you. I'm Miss Parrott, and we're going to be looking today at how to use the system to increase your performance on the AP Bio hybrid exam. You're going to come in knowing the biology, feeling mild to moderately confident, but knowing the biology is not enough. We have to know how to use the tools strategically and manage our thinking to be successful on exam day. But before we even walk in the room, we need to have done a few things. As we learn about how to use the system, stay tuned to the end because I'm going to give you an insight into how to use the system to boost points and success. So first, you want to install the Bluebook app. So you want to download it and run it on whatever device you're going to be taking the exam on. Now, if that's a personal device, you can do it. You can do it at home even if you're going to be using a school computer on test day, but you can still do it and use it to practice. Every AP exam has an official practice exam, and that's full length, 90-minute multiple choice. So if you don't already have a mock exam scheduled at your school, set aside time several weeks before the actual exam to take that practice exam. That will help you build your screen stamina and just like know what it feels like in your body to sit still and stare at a screen for 90 minutes. You want to practice using all the tools that I'm about to go through right here. And we're doing this to increase familiarity with the stuff, again, that has nothing to do with biology. So much of the difference between a student earning a 3 and a 4 or a 5 has nothing to do with how much biology they know. It has to do with these systems. And that's why we're making this video. So if we're more familiar, we're going to have less stress. And if we come in with less stress and more confidence, we're going to be able to earn more points. First, let's look at the highlighter tool. So on this exam, you can't do like a paper test where you circle something you think is important or put a star or write little notes in the margin or make a sketch. On this, you can only use the highlight tool. You want to highlight not everything, only the most important things. So variables, data tables, if you have an experimental or a control group, and any of your task verbs like identify, justify, describe, predict, all of these things you want to highlight. Highlighting is there to focus our attention for when we go back and read for depth. And less is more when it comes to highlighting. If you highlight everything, you may as well have highlighted nothing. So only do these things because this is the specific information that's going to help you choose the right answer. Now, the next tool is the strike-through tool. This is great for eliminating wrong answer choices and decreasing the cognitive load of having 4 answer choices that you're constantly rereading. If you can cross out ones that you know are biologically impossible or have information that has nothing at all to do with what the rest of the question is talking about, anytime that it reverses the cause and effect, eliminate it. And any answer choice that has claims that are not supported by the data or the context of the question, cross it out. You want to always choose questions that are answer choices that are precise, that don't require additional assumptions beyond the context of the question, and that are supported by the data or the context of the question. If you have questions about what do I do when I get down to 2 really good answers and I'm not sure which one to choose, check out this video linked above and my entire AP Exam Skills playlist for more information on that. Our third tool is Mark for Review, and it looks like a little flag. Each multiple choice question, you only have about 1.5 minutes to read the whole thing, and usually there's often like a big scenario and then 3 questions underneath. So you only have like 1.5 minutes per question. If you're stuck after 30 to 45 seconds, you need to flag it for review, click this, and move on and come back. I encourage you to use my 3-pass multiple choice question strategy. The video for that is up here. And then that way you know exactly which kind of questions that you want to come back to, and you can move quickly through, grabbing up the easy points first and more challenging and more challenging. This flagging it and moving on instead of lingering and like freaking, like going down a spiral, that's not what we want to do, right? Coming back later isn't giving up. You're coming back with a fresh mind and new eyes. And sometimes questions later in the test will remind you of something or trigger something in your mind that helps you look back at an old question with fresh eyes. Remember, progress earns point and perfectionism wastes time. So mark for review is your best friend in the 3-pass strategy. These two tools are related. So there's the calculator tool and then the reference tool. So these are available on both the multiple choice and the free response section. The calculator is a Desmos test mode calculator. You do not have to use this calculator, but it is available for you. You can bring your own AP Bio regulation calculator, one kind of like this, as long as it doesn't attach to Wi-Fi. But if you are going to use this calculator, start practicing now. You want to know, like, where is the square root button? What if I want to square something? What do I do? How do I use parentheses? And practice using that calculator and setting things up beforehand to ensure that you're not missing a question just because you're punching it in incorrectly. Remember, this is optional. You can use your own approved calculator. This button, the reference button, gives you access to the formula and equation sheet. And so it has the chi-square symbol on it, but it says reference. I don't think it says formula sheet, but that's what you can click on there and get the formula that you're going to need to put into your calculator. So that's why, I don't know, if it was me, you do you, but if it was me, I would have my own so that I'm not like toggling between these tools on the day of the exam. But again, if you practice beforehand, you'll probably be fine. Now, the calculator can do the math, but it can't do the biology. So remember, even if your math skills aren't awesome, or your calculator, you do push the wrong button, or some weird calculation comes out, on an FRQ, you do get points for just setting it up correctly and using the correct units if the answer has units. And you get points for interpreting the results, not just for getting the right numerical answer. So always show your work. Now for my scratch paper strategy. Scratch paper has never been a greater friend to you than on the AP Bio hybrid exam. The screen helps you read, but the paper helps you process your thinking. You want to use your scratch paper to sketch out processes, because it loves to give you like a brand new scenario you've never heard of. So you want to kind of sketch out what it's saying in like circles and arrows, whatever works for you. You want to use it to plan your FRQ answers. If you want some help on FRQ strategy, check out this video. And then if it's describing an experiment, you can sketch out the experiment. And of course, this is the place to work your calculations in the multiple choice or in the free response. And then, but to get credit for your free response work, you have to put it in the FRQ booklet. You have to handwrite it there. So here is a quick FRQ strategy with the hybrid situation, because with the hybrid, you're going to be reading the question and then you're going to be answering on the paper. And that can get a little dizzying. So first, you want to read the prompt, really start at like your main question, like towards the bottom. And then the top of the prompt will give you like all kinds of deep information, especially in questions 1 and 2. But read the prompt, use the highlight tool, again, to go through and highlight your variables, your control, your experimental trends, etc. Then go through and use the strike through to strike out your, like, if there's a specific gene name that's like TQSR594, cross that out. A specific species name, like a Latinized name, you don't need that. Specific protein names, those are just there to confuse you. So you can strike through extraneous information, but you can still read it if you do need to go back. For FRQ, then outline. So on your scratch paper, jot a quick, like, if I have to describe and explain, then what am I seeing and why or how is that happening? And you don't have to write it all the way out, right? You want to give yourself a shorthand. And then you go, then you go to your actual answer booklet and clearly and legibly write your answer, being sure to label, like, this is question 4, part B, because you do not have to answer in order. That's part of the strategy. One of the most important parts of shifting to this hybrid format is that we need to have a growth mindset and a fluency mindset. If you haven't seen my previous video about how to approach unfamiliar scenarios and going from no to can do to fluency, please check that one out too. Fluency, you're going to be getting a 5 if you are fluent not only in the biology of the AP Bio exam, but of the system and the way it asks the questions. Fluent means that you can answer accurately, efficiently, and confidently under time pressure. And how am I going to do that? By practicing the system. This is true not just on the AP Bio exam, but this is the difference between people that stay at like a base level and people that go to the next level, is they learn the system and how to work the system to be successful. So how do you practice the system? You answer multiple choice questions online by doing the practice tests, by using the College Board website and doing all the progress checks at the end of each unit. Because that's exactly the type of question that they're going to be asking. Answer free response questions by hand. Practice looking at a screen and then physically writing for extended periods of time. More than just like what you would do on a regular test day at school, because you're usually just getting like 1, 2, maybe 3 FRQs depending on the length of them. And here you're going to have to do it for 90 minutes. You want to build screen stamina and use your scratch paper wisely. I find it's really important, if you haven't already done this for yourself in life, to create a symbol or a shorthand for yourself. Because if you're running through and scratching things down and you can't read your own writing, well, that's not going to help you. But if you have specific symbols that or a shorthand for yourself that's going to make sense to you, that's going to be a helpful tool you can use on the day of the exam. AP style practice. It's what takes us from, but I did really well in the class, I can do it, to fluency, which is a 4 or a 5 on the AP exam. So if you found this video helpful, please do give it a thumbs up, a like, subscribe to my channel. I have a few more AP Bio exam skill series videos coming your way. Leave a comment, a question, or an emoji below. If you have any concerns about the hybrid exam, please let me know and I'll answer it in the next video. And teachers, please visit my Teachers Pay Teachers store called Know and Grow with Gnomes for AP Bio resources to help you in your classroom. Keep learning, keep growing, and we'll see you next time.